Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman. And today we've got a returning guest. Where's he been? He's been everywhere, man. Where hasn't he been? On this podcast. But he's been everywhere else. Let's bring him in. You know him. It's that guy, Matt Mohl. How's it going, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Good to be back on the waves, mate. My podcast is very much flickering in the dying spaces, dying embers of the podcast scrap heap. But
with all those other COVID era podcasts.
But the spirit lives on through guests and others, so the persona lives on.
That's right. It's more about the man than the show at the moment. You could just insert yourself into it. You just guest star anywhere you need to be.
Our guesting is the best anyway. There's no editing.
I know.
There's no. You can just come be yourself. Oh, it's the best.
I know. When I had a Raj on a week or two ago, he's just like, "Yeah, just come on the Sith list anytime." I'm like, "Just ask, I'll come. You know, if I can make it work, I'll come. You know, I get to show up, talk, wave, and then leave. It's what a joy. It's like what you do right now,
mate. It's absolutely. I mean, when I used to be employed by a company, I used to be getting paid to podcast. But now that I'm self-employed, I'm actually doing this on my own time now. So it's a little bit of a different feeling. I'm actually taking time out to
I'll keep an eye
do
out for
this.
the invoice. All of a sudden, I just get this invoice from you. I'm like, oh damn, that's how it rolls now. Do you reckon like what percentage of Star Wars people, you know, when a big Star Wars podcast will get a reputable guest, like a name, how much money do you think exchanges hands, if any?
I think when there's advertising and product placement, and I'd say there's a notable size.
It's like I wanted to get like Dennis Lawson on the podcast. Do you think I'd have to reach out to his people and they'd be like, well, you know, for like, you know, $500 you get him for an hour or something like that? Or
Dennis is pretty grumpy, I hear. So
even better, you know, just see him like grump. I feel like that novelty would wear off pretty quick. You just get one word answers and stuff.
Yeah, I think you'd be wasting your time with Dennis Lawson. I think you should go for someone really good.
Have you ever heard like? What's the worst podcast guest you think you've ever heard, like listening to a podcast? Like a famous person, you're just like, damn, why'd they even bother? Have you ever heard one before where you're just like, no.
Nothing
springs to mind?
Nothing springs to mind. I've only heard really good ones. Like Larry David was amazing.
Well, usually that's how it goes. Like normally,
I don't have any shockers.
I heard one that was this podcast called More Stories that the comedian Jay Moore used to do. It used to be pretty good. He used to have pretty good comedian guests on. And one time he had the guy, I remember his name, but you know the band Wolf Mother?
Yeah.
You know, Australia's own Wolf Mother. He was on the guest on that, and he just gave him nothing.
Crickets.
It was like 45 minutes of him trying to get something out of him and just like, oh, no, not really. Yeah, no. I'm just like, oh my God, why would you even put this out? This is just... So do you think if we had Dennis Lawson on here, I think I'd need a third for Dennis Lawson.
I think Frosty would get the best out of Dennis Lawson.
That's true.
He'd be a good buffer to sort of springboard your Lawson injection.
Maybe no Star Wars talk, maybe just Peppa Pig talk, and maybe
you'd have to
fire up.
He's not big on the Star Wars.
No, he still does occasional conventions and stuff, though. I think Anthony Daniels was just in Australia recently.
Really?
Yeah, he was doing some of the supernovas. I think he did Supernova Brisbane and maybe Sydney as well.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one. I'm so detached from all that stuff at the moment.
Yeah, of course, you're in Sydney. You could have rocked down and seen Tony Daniels.
I could have gone in. Oh, I haven't been here, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
I've been too busy sneaking the lines at the Vatican and stuff to get to...
you're one of those, were you?
Definitely.
You and the Vatican, Matt Mohl's European holiday. So you have been on holiday. I've been following your Instagram. You and your lovely family have been trolloping around Europe, just being in beautiful locations, eating lovely food. Did you go to any Star Wars location? Did you go to the what is it in Spain? Is it Seville where Naboo was, the city or whatever?
Lake Como or in Seville. There's a bit of thing. I didn't do anything Star Wars related, believe it or not.
That was a prerequisite for the holiday. Let's leave your Star Wars crap at home.
No. It just wasn't time for any of that stuff. But it didn't even factor into the planning. It was my sister's wedding, and then we did a Europe because we took a 3-year-old son across
state lines,
30 hours of flights to get there. We were like, well, God, it was a mission and a half just to do that. We may as well make the most of it, and spent 3 weeks there. So
yep.
We did that, and
there was tanned. I mean, I know this is a podcast, but you look like you got a nice little bit of sun there. European late summer.
Well, I thought I'd put on 5 or 6 kilos, and if I put on another layer of brown skin, that'll offset that. So
you just have to start wearing a jumper tied around your neck, and
you've got the moo or got the Donald Trump look going. The orange skin.
Yeah. You just you take your headphones off. You just got this white patch down the sides there. Yeah. Oh well, it looks like it was a lovely holiday. Well, no Star Wars allowed on that holiday.
Well, no, that's not true. I mean, we did go to Paris Disneyland, and
how's that for Star Wars representation? Is it just Star Tours?
There were Star Tours. We met Darth Vader. We met Mando.
Cool.
And then I went on Hyperspace Mountain by myself. And yeah, but I actually messaged Jimmy and Kevin because I said I did the most unholiest of line push-ins of all time at the Vatican. I managed to. The line was about 10,000 people long, and my wife's Catholic, and we were.
What, they didn't fly? They're just like, my wife's Catholic. She should go at the front. She's like, it's the Vatican guy. Like, get in line. Everyone's Catholic.
We were with my son in the pram, and he was being super difficult. And basically, I just said, "Come with me." There was the line.
I trained for this. I'm trained for this. I was at Celebration Anaheim. I'm fully trained. It's finally starting to pay off. It was
basically like Celebration Anaheim, and there was just one bit where this wooden picket fence where you sort of enter in, and I was like, but you could sort of walk around and take photos. And I said, let's just pretend like we were in the line and see if nobody says anything. And my wife's like, I don't know. I'm like, just do it. Maybe otherwise, we're not going
to find out who you're really married to.
Anyway, we did it, and we were in 2 minutes. So, and my wife was so happy. We went in, and it was fantastic. And I'm not a really religious person, and the St. Peter's Basilica and stuff. I went in, and phenomenal. It's just so hard traveling with a child, and he's got less patience than I do. So I did it for him. So
I think I had a mate because I went to the Vatican with my parents. I don't know, one of the first few years I was in Europe, and we got there very early in the morning, so it didn't take us that long to get in. I think we were there by sort of 8:39 in the morning, so there wasn't much of a line. And then a few years later, I went back to Rome with a mate of mine, and he hadn't been. I'm like, well, I've done it. Like, I'll meet you somewhere, and you let me know how you go. And I remember thinking, he'll be gone for hours. And I think, he was back within an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he goes, oh, yeah, I just stood near the front and walked in. So similar vibe. Similar vibes.
As long as you don't get like an Italiano Karen or someone, you just keep going. And
would that have stopped you in your tracks? Or would have never been an actual priest or something? Well, don't they have those Vatican guards and things like the?
No, there was very minimal. I surveyed the thing. I actually made it look like I was pretending I was returning some rubbish into the bins that weren't allowed through the belt, and I was coming back to the line as one of my allowable guests. So it was all very.
This is just a bigger, more innate version of the Mando exhibition here, essentially.
Basically, I'm just feeding more into my heinous personality of impatientness.
Star Wars and Disney blows money. Like let's see how the Catholics spend. Come on.
Exactly. I'm just honing my skills for Japan 2025.
Right. Now, because I remember you talking, because we've been talking about, and you're kind of going, well, my wife wants to go on a holiday and do this trip. Is this currency for Japan, or is this? It's the family trip, so it's probably not any different, is it?
No. If I'm coming, I'll be coming alone. What's the situation? What's the situation?
I don't think there's any. I'm still like. I'm supposed to be on Just Chillin' in a couple of days with Andy and Sean to talk about Celebration. I haven't organised anything at the moment. We are aside from tickets to Celebration, we've just not got around to it. We've just been so hectic with the kids the last few months. It just hasn't happened. So we'll get there. It'll happen. But as far as getting some sweet deal, it's just we're gonna have to just eat it and pay.
Yeah, well, I went looking for my ticket the other day, and I realized that you've got it.
I have got it. Yes, I have. They did put a ticket. There is some kind of like ticket thing that they put in, like it was a ticket transfer system, but because Catherine was messaging me about it, and then I don't think it actually. I think it only means that you can apply to different panels than the person who bought the tickets, which I think you could have done before anyway. You know, before you get a code and you'd all share the code and you get the. So I think the kind of thing was like, well, if I bought the tickets and I go into the panels, we're all in the same boat. I think it was more going, oh, well, you will have an email, you'll have a chance to apply for your own panels. But I don't think it meant that if I transfer the ticket to you, you can even collect the ticket yourself or give it to anyone else. I think I still have to collect it in person.
So you're the master of ceremonies.
Well, unless you have my ID. Like when we were in the UK in the London one, because we went the day before, I actually picked up Turbo's passes for him. He just sent me a photo of his driver's license and he's like, and the number, and they're like, "Yep, sure, here you go." So that just saved him making the trip in. I gave it to him at the pub that night. So, technically, I could probably just send you a photo of my driver's license and and your receipt, and you'd be able to get your tickets. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge. We got actually, it's not that long. It's 5 months.
6 months, yeah.
Far out. Okay, I better get my ass into gear.
Yeah, find out what's happening.
We were waiting for it because we were hoping to take in the kids. We were waiting for our tax returns to come through because we're just like, oh well, that'll buffer it a little bit. And I got a bit back, and I think Kat has to pay. So I was like, well, that blew that. It wasn't the windfall that we thought it was going to be. But anyways, so it's been going down. It's been quiet. Not much Star Wars talk. And then we were going to have you on a couple of days ago, and we decided to sort of not do it so close to the election just because it was pretty sensitive for some people. And hello, we love you all out there. Everybody, we love you, and we take care out there. But the Skeleton Crew trailer dropped, and then we got this extra news as well. Like, what do you want to do first? You want to talk Skelly Crew, or you want to talk this amazing new Star Wars trilogy that's coming out?
What about the Rey Skywalker trilogy on hold as well, or the writers out? Or have you already spoken about that?
No. Well, this is is this the same thing?
No,
this doesn't make any freaking sense because surely the Rey movie and Episode 10 are the same things.
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know.
This is why it doesn't make any freaking sense to me. So basically, Deadline or some other places came out today and said, there's another Star Wars trilogy coming, and it's from Simon Kinberg, the man who made the worst X-Men movie. But he has actually done some decent stuff. I haven't got his IMDb in front of me. Like, before we just sit here and we poo-poo everything he's done. He has
22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes a... I can't spell Kinberg. How do you spell Kinberg?
Kinberg.
Is it Kinberg? All right.
Kinberg, yeah.
Like King Bird.
Berg.
Oh, Berg. It's like King of the Birds.
Come on, this is Hollywood. Everyone's Jewish.
Ah, there he is. Sign King Bird. Right. IMDb. I'm just looking up because I know he's written some stuff as well. I'm just looking for a writer. IMDb sucks these days. It's just very hard to... Okay, well, Mr. and Mr. Smith show was good with Donald Glover.
He actually did some work on Star Wars Rebels as well, so...
Good, people like that. Dark Phoenix, obviously, terrible.
Stinky.
X-Men Apocalypse, terrible. Fantastic Four, terrible. X-Men Days of Future Past, good. Jumper. There you go. Hayden Christensen connection. Maybe we'll get Hayden Christensen back. X-Men The Last Stand, terrible. Yeah, he's kind of done all the worst.
The worst of the worst.
Days of Future Past is really the only thing that's kind of good.
Like I said to you, is the guy who wrote Dude, Where's My Car not available?
I like Dude, Where's My Car?
Exactly.
Not that I haven't seen it for a long time. But so anyway, they're saying that old Simo Kimbo is writing Star Wars. Kinberg will be to write and produce an all-new trilogy of Star Wars movies. Believe it will compromise episodes 10 through 12, not at 10 and 12 with no 11 for anybody keeping score at home. But I don't know. How does this work with the Rey movie? Or is it the same thing? Is he just writing the new ones from now? But it sounds like this Ray movie is already kind of finished, or at least not fully written, but the general thing of it's kind of sorted out.
I don't know. It's a mess. I was talking about my mate. They just can't get the secret sauce right anymore. Like the other day, can you believe it was 4 years since the premiere of Mando season 2?
As it was season 2. Okay, 4 years.
Oh, so it's 4 years to the day since the episode 1, Mando season 2 release. Like, do you remember the hype, around the return and, Season 2 was amazing.
You could have just said 5 years since season 1. Was it 5 years or 6 years?
No, because that was 7. Oh, that was 6 years. Yeah,
because it was the same week as Rise of Skywalker, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was weird. Why did they do that? So I mean, upside, one person writing the trilogy from essentially start to finish, or at least with a complete vision of what it's going to be. That's a plus.
Yeah.
But not an amazing track record, but maybe he just does the scope or the thing. But yeah, I don't see how this works with the Rey movie. Like episode 10, is it still the Skywalker saga? There's no more Skywalkers left. Rey's the only Skywalker left. Unless you get Hamill back. I mean, Hamill will come back, but he's just gonna be a ghost.
Yeah, look, the internet is not
high-fiving.
There's not a lot of positivity.
It just seems like an odd choice. I mean, I know that this hasn't officially come from Star Wars, and until something comes from Star Wars, it's official.
But it says on the one hand, Simon Kinberg wrote some of the best episodes of Star Wars Rebels. On the other hand, that's the only good thing he's ever done in his career. Dear Lucasfilm, you had one of the greatest filmmakers in recent years, Rian Johnson. You promised us a new trilogy under his vision. Now you bring us Simon Kinberg to the table. Oh dear.
So it is a weird choice, isn't it? But I guess he's got somewhat of a connection. I just don't know where this fits in.
Well, the fact that he's got some Rebels, previous history gives me some confidence in that he knows how to write Star Wars. And, Rebels was the peaks of Rebels was great Star Wars.
It's the 10, 11, 12 that's throwing me. It's the inclusion of the Skywalker saga that's throwing me.
Well, it might just be it's done, it's finished, Rey's dead, Finn's dead, 30 years later, or maybe, who knows?
But you can't do that when you're making a movie about Rey. So,
well, no, I don't think it's the Rey movie.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that means you've either got a character whose story is continuing from episode 9, and then you're making another continuing story that's either taking place before, at the same time, or after that one that may or may not include that character. Unless this is like the Rey movie is an in-between one where it's like she's getting ready to roll.
Maybe he is writing it, and they need to confirm that Sharbid Chinook, whatever woman is the director then.
Well, they did that. They still confirmed that.
But of his.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know. That's the thing. This sounds like this is a whole new thing, though. This isn't connected. This is
I know.
Weird, so.
That's why it's odd, because you would have thought that the Rey movie was episode 10, given it's a continuation from 9. So,
but even then, it's kind of like, well, do you just park the Skywalker saga and say 1 to 9 is done? You start a new saga and you start at 1 again, and just be like, there's no more baggage. You could have done that with the Rey movie. I mean, like episode 1, the whatever new Jedi Order saga.
I just feel like everything seems to be dropping in quality at a rapid rate.
We haven't seen it yet, so we don't really know.
No, but everything, like what was the last thing we just watched? I don't even remember. Like, what was the last thing that came out?
The Acolyte.
Oh, there you go. I
will defend the Acolyte all day.
It was fine. It was just okay though. It wasn't prime Star Wars, and
Andor season 2 is the next.
And Andor was phenomenal, but Mando season 3 was nowhere near the hype levels of 1 and 2. I think we've been over. What's the word? Flooded
overfed.
With. Yeah,
we've kind of been overfed and underfed at the same time, though. Well, we've been overfed on television and underfed on movies. But then we've been overfed on potential movies, but underfed on actual sitting in the cinema scene.
We've been saturated with content, and it's been a bit hit and miss the last few years. And that's fine because, you got so much shit going on. But, when it comes to movies, you really need those to be home runs.
I saw some graphic and somebody put up like the potential things that are currently in play, and it was like,
there was huge
James
things,
Mangold's one, the Ray movie. I mean, they've never officially canned the Taika Waititi one. The Rogue Squadron one, the Rian Johnson movies.
Yeah, but they're all not going ahead. Like,
we don't know who knows what's going on in there.
I saw that thing. Donald Glover said Donald Glover's written it. Yeah, Lando. God, Lando Norris will win.
It could all just come out. Would you like to have like it all come out within like a 2-week period? They just said, all right, we've actually filmed and made all these things. There are 6 movies and 3 show series coming out, and they're all coming out, March 2026. For 2 weeks, we'll drop a movie a day, and then you'll be able to go home and watch the TV series when you at night.
Just imagine if they put on the list. Oh yeah, and we've given Star Wars Theory. He's going budget to do his own movie.
Oh God, let's not get carried away. He doesn't even know the difference,
between 1 and 2 or 3,
whatever it is. Look, it's a bit of a very out of left field. Who knows what the sources are? Maybe it's a truth, it's a half-truth. Maybe he's producing some stuff. Maybe he is just moving into a producing role. Who knows? I don't know. Again, it's let's wait till we see it, until we see. I'm sitting in that cinema. I'd
love to sit in a cinema.
Yeah, well, we've never actually watched a Star Wars movie together in a cinema.
Haven't we? You and I?
No, I don't think so.
We have watched Obi-Wan in a theater hall together, though.
Yeah, that's about the closest. That's true. And then went home and watched it again.
We have, and that's the thing. And now, I have premium level contacts in the media industry to get premiered. I went to the Gladiator 2 premiere last week.
Gladiator 2.
I've seen it, and
are you allowed to talk about it?
I'm media silenced. I'm not allowed.
Really?
I can break media code. It's fantastic.
Is it? Okay. Something.
So good. No, I mean I did fall asleep.
Can you confirm or deny one thing? I know you're not going to.
I'm not allowed to review it online, but I'm happy to talk about it.
Is Russell Crowe in it?
No,
not at all. Not as a ghost or anything.
Oh, he's Oh, no.
As a presence. Like, is he obviously his presence and his like characters talked about, but he doesn't like.
You see him in the movie, but it's just old scenes from Gladiator. So
really? Someone's filmed it on their phone. It's like, I was there.
No. It's just like they use footage from the old film for context.
So like channeling Maximus, the spirit of Maximus.
No, not even that. It's just he's in it, but he doesn't. There's nothing new in it.
So there's no 2024 Russell Crowe in there.
He'd be way too fat.
You make it work. He's the world's greatest actor. He could make it work.
He's also dead. Somehow Maximus survived.
Did you ever hear about the Gladiator 2 script that Nick Cave wrote? You know who Nick Cave is, obviously.
Isn't that like Kevin Garbutt's Hero?
Yeah, Nick Cave, Australia's greatest musical export. He got asked to write a sequel by Russell Crowe for Gladiator 2, and it's basically like Russell Crowe in the afterlife, like Gladiator in the afterlife.
Oh my god!
And he fights through history. He was like Wolverine to start that Wolverine. He starts appearing in like different world wars and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. But no, good movie. But I went to pee at the wrong time. Missed a crucial scene. Fell asleep.
That's the moment Russell Crowe showed up. You're like,
no.
Like, can you believe Russell Crowe? I'm like, well, I didn't see it. It clearly didn't happen.
I fell asleep for about 8 minutes, not because the movie was bad, but I literally flew in the day before, and I was absolutely shattered because I would have thought the premiere would have been like yesterday or something, because the movie still doesn't come out till tomorrow or next week.
Yeah.
So when I got back and I put in my feeler saying, "Oh, could I please," and she's like, "Yeah, I got you 4 tickets for tomorrow night." I'm like, "Tomorrow night?
I'm 4 tickets
in Sydney."
Yeah.
Anyway,
with that fast train, and I probably could have done
it. But yeah, no, phenomenal, really good.
Okay,
highly recommend. Look at that, world exclusive.
I remember going to see Gladiator when it came out in 2000 or whatever it was.
You can put a Gladiator JPEG on this podcast
It was
cover.
the first DVD I ever bought when I bought my PlayStation 2 for like $900 or something insane that it was in 2000 because I got my first job. And I bought Gladiator on DVD. That was with the PlayStation. PlayStation 2. So there you go. I don't know where that DVD is now, but or that PlayStation, they're long gone. So I don't know. Gladiator 2 was a movie that is real, that you can see in the cinema in a week's time, that you've seen. Simon Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy currently is not a movie that you can see in the cinema. So the jury's out.
Well, we just need more news. Like, it's. I'm excited for the news, but I'm skeptical because we've just been burnt so many times. Like.
Well, we've never actually been burnt. It's just like
no, we have
just
been
like
burnt.
Faded out. Like it's not like
constant announcements, constant delays. Like, give me the Grogu trailer. Like,
well, at least that's actually coming out. Did you watch the potato cam of that? Have you seen like just hold the phone up at the conference version?
No, of what?
Of the Mando and Grogu trailer.
No,
they showed it at D23.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's ask around. Use the dark web. You can see it. I have seen it.
Is it good?
Yeah, it looks cool. Looks like an episode of Mando and Grogu with a little bit more money.
Okay,
but it can be done.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I want I want Mando again. I felt so giddy seeing a guy dressed in a Mando suit, even though I knew
French guy dressed as Mando. I feel like I'm bagging the French boys on this podcast.
I knew it wasn't Pedro Pascal, but I was excited.
Did he talk? Did he speak French?
You had the option.
Okay.
But he sounded like
I can bring you in cold.
He sounded like Pedro, and I did for Mandalore, and then I tried to put my hand around Darth Vader, like on the shoulder.
Disney jail.
He was like, "No," and I was like, "Whoa!"
Did the Mando have a Grogu?
He did.
That's cool. Did you sound like that?
He did.
Oh, that's nice.
He's doing a show and tell today, and he's going to tell everyone about
Have he stuck into the Vatican?
He slept the whole Vatican. I managed to sneak a pram into the Vatican too. My powers are just out of control.
God, let you loose in Japan. It's going to be a force of nature.
No, it's going to be. I might just temper it down for the Japanese. The Japanese will see right through me.
Yes. It's all about respect over there.
Exactly.
So, a thing that is coming out in a few weeks is Skelly Crew.
Skeleton
The Adventures of Jude Skellington, as I'm calling him.
Ah, yes. What's the podcast name going to be?
I like the Jude Skellington thing, but it's too much of a mouthful. I'm trying to find a play on Motley Crue. Something Crew, and like spelling it like Crew. So if I can find a character name that rhymes with Motley or something Star Wars, like Judely Crew doesn't really work. I've got to do a little bit more deep dive into all these character names and find something that'll work on that, because then I can spell crew like how it's got the dots on crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this show?
I'm quite excited. I'm actually more excited because I think I'll watch it with my kids, which I've never done for a Star Wars show. So my youngest daughter Sloane is like playing Star Wars. She comes home from school and says, "I played Star Wars today at school," and I'm like, I can get behind that. I said, "Well, who are you?" And she's like, "Princess Leia." And I said, "Who'd you play with?" And she's like, "Oh, this boy, this boy, this boy, and this girl, and this girl." And I'm like, "Oh, well, were they Princess Leia as well?" And she's like, "No, they were just guards or stormtroopers." Like, all right. So
just gammies.
So she's and she still hasn't. We watched a few weeks ago. She was homesick. I was looking after her, and we watched Empire Strikes Back, which she hadn't seen, and that's. That's a bit of a tougher sell for a 5, nearly 6-year-old, but she got through it, really liked it. So we haven't done Return of the Jedi yet. That's the next one. But I got a feeling that when we get to the sequels, when we get Rey front and center, I think the allegiances might shift to Rey. I think she'll be happy to play as Rey as well as Princess Leia. Currently, that's where it's at.
That's good. That's good. Now, my son loves Star Wars. Like, he doesn't have the attention span to he's sort of getting about 20, 30 minutes. So an episode of Mando or what's that show that Jedi Adventures?
Yeah. She likes that too.
Yeah, that Kai Bright Star and stuff. So we do a bit of that, and but I can't imagine him watching Skeleton. I showed him the trailer. He's like, "Turn that off. I want to watch Peppa Pig."
Oh man. Yeah, I showed Sloane specifically the Skeleton Crew trailer. She was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm in. Like I want to watch." I don't know how scary it will be. I'll probably watch. Like we'll do the first watch before we do the pod and everything anyway. So I'll be able to gauge if it's too intense or scary and stuff. But I've got a feeling if they're watching the movies, I can't imagine it'll be any worse than the movies. So that's exciting. Like I'll actually get to watch the show with them sort of on the run, which would be good. That's the dream, when you have kids, that's what you kind of like, oh, they can get into Star Wars. That's like what it's all about. And they can enjoy it for a few years until some stupid dudes try to ruin it for them. But anyway.
Till they get their own Instagram and Twitter accounts.
Yeah, that's right. God. That's the other, like, do you just, no. You know what? No. Let them love it and they can, just stare that nonsense down. So what did you think of the trailer then?
Yeah, I liked it. It looks fun. It looks, I'm a little bit low energy on Star Wars now. It's just been so long since it's been such a big gap since like the Acolyte ended. God, I can't even remember when. Like what, 3 months ago? Or
well, that's not too long between Star Wars shows.
Yeah,
really.
I know because
like, we've actually had Bad Batch season 3, the Acolyte, and now Skeleton Crew. Is that the only stuff we've had this year? Was there a?
Okay, so it's been like almost a year and a half since it's been like anything I love, like Andor season 2 finale. Like I was like watching that last Rick's Road
season 1 finale.
Season 1 finale, like Marva Andor speech every day for a month, like till I knew it off track. Like I was even my dad watched it. Like when he had COVID, I convinced him. I said, "Just watch Andor." Like, he's like, "What are you going to do for the next 10 days at home?" And so he did. And then he loved it. Are
you worried that that's going to be the peak season 2? Like once season 2 Andor season 2 comes out, it's like it'll never be this good again.
I don't know. I want to watch it again. It just takes so long as well. Like it's hard to find that much time in the day.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope not. I'm hoping for more. Like, but I mean, that's the thing. The good thing is, I'm going in with really low expectation on this. Like, I hope it's really good. But it doesn't feel like Star Wars. That's
it feels like too inconsequential, like too much of a small story that has no bearing on the bigger world.
I feel like it's got this whole Stranger Things, Goonies, something else. It's set in the Star Wars world, but it has the ability to grow on me as well. Although I'm not a big Jude Law fan. He looks a bit weird.
It does like a sort of necker. They've done it with the toy as well. He's wearing this kind of like hood towel thing over his head. And even some of the toys have it. It just looks really weird. Like it doesn't really translate well to a toy. It just sort of looks like he's got a big plastic circle on his head. But yeah, the Jude Skellington sort of character, I'm not sure. Like, what is he? Is he a Force user? Is he what is he? Is he just is he a shyster? We kind of did that with the Kamal Nanjiani character in Obi-Wan. Is he just a guy pretending? Or is he a guy who's pretending who really can use the Force? What's his deal?
Well, it'd be interesting to see. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely gonna watch it, but like, it's yeah, that's why the movies are so important. Like, it's been a while since as Matt Frosty puts it, the fairy dust is waning. And I think as you get older as well, that tends to, it gets harder and harder to come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if you would have told me would Star Wars ever be as good as the original stuff, but I think Andor is it can be done. They can reach those heights. It can be done, but I don't know. Is it too much of a scattergun approach at the moment, just like randomly throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that something sticks? And or is it just too hard to please everybody now? And what can you do?
I think this
can be true to yourself.
The internet is so exhausting as well. You could even put out the best thing ever, and the smallest part of the internet's going to find the smallest but loudest part of the internet will find a way to spoil it.
Well, that's what I mean. Well. So I think it's kind of pointless. It's a pointless exercise to even try and appease everybody. I think you just have to be true to yourself and tell the story that you want to tell, and hope that enough people and jive with it and go for it. Like I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to poo-poo this Skeleton Crew one way or the other. I've already decided that they hate it, or sharpening their knives at the kid actors and whatever else. But what can you do? You just take it at face value. I mean, would you want it to be inadvertently a bigger story where it's like all of a sudden, like, your boy Thrawn's there and it all ties into the Republic, that they do something? Would you rather, like, if they fall ass backwards into some Thrawn stuff, would that make you mad, or you'd be happy?
That would feel silly. But I mean, if it made sense, actually, you know what? I the last time I felt the fairy dust was episode 5, Ahsoka. I lie. That was the last time. Actually, I had 40 minutes to kill on a bus, and I just put my my phone in between the car seat and the headrest, and I watched that, and I felt the buzz again. That was amazing. Yeah, no, look, it doesn't need to tie into anything. I mean, they need to stand on its own as well. Like, it'd be good if this could make a good storyline that's gripping and, has its own cachet and longevity as well. Like, if, they can make, something last years and years and years and have people come back and come back for clicks and make money that helps support new projects, because when things don't go well, I mean, how do they spend $230 million? I don't know how they spent $230 million on the Acolyte and only 90 on Obi-Wan. I don't know how the maths works on that.
Well, they shot a lot of Obi-Wan on the volume, and they shot the Acolyte completely on sets and locations, which was, I was all for the Acolyte and I love it, but I don't know why they did that. Like, why? And but the thing is, they did that with Andor as well, and Andor costs a lot of money, but I think Andor, its viewers was roughly the same as the Acolyte anyway. But they should have just shot it all on the volume and had it not look quite as nice. But anyway, that's just.
But the Acolyte got hate before it even arrived.
I know it was a completely losing battle. Like, it was already pigeonholed regardless, and we've dissected it to a million pieces. And I think the Skeleton Crew, and I hate to say this, but the fact that the guy who made the Skeleton Crew is a straight white guy who made Spider-Man movies, is probably going to help it a lot, and it's probably not going to be gone for as hard, at least initially. But I'm more worried that they're going to go after those kid actors, and I don't want to see any of that. I'd leave those kids alone. If I was their parents, I'd keep them off social media, like they're going to be in Australia pretty soon. We've just banned social media for anyone under 16.
Oh, wait, one sec. I got a thing here. Update. The GOT inside info is that it's a new story focused on new characters, so no Rey and crew.
Yeah, well, obviously, if you do that, you've either got to do it far enough in the future, but it still negates the Rey stuff. Like, give me more Daisy Ridley. Give Daisy Ridley 3 movies.
Daisy Ridley will have her own story, but
I know, but like, if they got this other story going 50 years in the future that's not related, then they'll be like, oh, remember what happened to that Jedi Order, or is the Jedi Order here? What happened to Rey? Like, it's like,
it might just be 500 years from the events of Episode 9, and Rey will have her Episode 9 story 5 years afterwards. It'll just.
Oh, like if he's starting this now and he's like, all right, I've literally just put pen to paper to do this, and I'm going to spend 2 years writing this whole thing out from start to finish. I'm going to plan the whole thing out, and then once that's done, it's going to go through revisions. Then we're going to find directors, and then we're going to cast this thing, and then we're going to shoot it, and it's going to take 7 or 8 years before we see this thing, And then we can get 2 or 3 Rey movies out in that time where her story is done. Daisy Ridley's gotten paid. She's done her trilogy. The Jedi Order is wherever it is when she's done. And then we go to the cinemas 12, 18 months later and we go see Episode 10. Great. But I don't want no overlapping stories where her shit's halfway through and they're starting stuff and I'm going, well, is this going to affect what's happened in this movie? What's going on here? There's a bloody Luke Skywalker ghost floating around everywhere.
Yeah, but this guy's not going to write 3 movies in less than 5 years.
Yes, he can. Easy. If he writes the whole treatment from start to finish And maybe there's going to be a little bit of like, well, we've got to figure stuff out in between. But as far as like what this story is, where it's going, where it ends, I mean, that was the thing that people said was bad on the sequels, that they didn't have a beginning, middle, and end.
But from pen to paper and then paper to bums on seat is forever.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, that's good. So if that means that that's forever, that can come out when Daisy Ridley's finished with Star Wars.
But they don't even have pen to paper for Daisy. They can't even get the story right for Daisy Ridley.
They've already got she already signed on a story premise.
No, she signed on, but they can't get the story right. They just lost the writer.
Yeah, well, the contention is whether he actually had finished his time on it and had to go make the Peaky Blinders movie. I think he was only contracted for a period of time, and then he finished. He's like, hey, I've done my 2 or 3 drafts. Now I'm off to make Peaky Blinders. Good luck. And they'll probably hire somebody to be there on the day to fix all the bits and bobs up. But I don't know. I don't know how Hollywood works. I've never been invited. I don't know.
It's pretty shady to drop your pants.
Get on that couch.
You need to have a last name Berg. Chapman will be all right. You do all right.
Well, I don't know whether they'll leave that in the podcast or not, but we'll see.
40 minutes.
Yeah, look, it's all timing, and I still think, it'd be good. We just need a good win. Star Wars needs a good win. And I want Skeleton Crew to do well. And I like the cute little kids. I like the pirates. I thought the pacing was really good. I kind of even like the idea of like the parent side of it. How that would feel if your kid disappeared in a spaceship. What that would actually mean. Yeah, I like all of that. I just don't know whether it, like you said, if it's a little self-contained story or whether it's a bigger. Does it fit into bigger things going on?
I think it's a big self-contained story. The galaxy is a huge place. Space is a big area.
I think location-wise it's big, but I don't. When does it feed into the Mandoverse and the New Republic and Thrawn and Ahsoka and all those other moving parts that are going on?
I think it might just have a little bit Mando adjacency.
How many of those kids do you think are Force sensitive? You're going to get at least one of them?
None.
Really?
None.
No Force, not even the little elephant kid?
The Ortolan.
Is that what it is? So he's not a Max Rebo, though, apparently.
He's not a Max Rebo?
No, officially came out and said he's not a Max Rebo, he's something else.
He's not an Ortolan. He's just an elephant blue guy.
Yeah, because I think there's that whole thing about like Max Rebo is actually playing with his feet on the piano. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. The Max Rebo, like, vintage, Star Wars kind of thing I've got's just got regular legs, but...
So what, this elephant is a new breed of
He might be adjacent, but I don't think it's like... Yeah. Like... I'm just trying to think of another thing. Like Darth Maul's species, apart from the spiky heads, looks like a human, really. So it's pretty close. So there's an approximation. So maybe it's the same thing. Apart from a few minor details.
So was this on Star? Okay, wow.
You've just been out of the loop. You just missed all the big news, mate. You've just...
I have not. I am way behind on my Star Wars. I'm actually feel very privileged to be invited on a Star Wars podcast because I'm so behind. I hadn't even watched the trailer until about 20 minutes ago. I was like, oh, that's okay. But yeah, look, I don't think that'll be Force. I think none of them know about the Force except for.
And they're only 5 years out of Return of the Jedi. They must know that Luke Skywalker defeated the Empire, and he's actually active at this time. So they must surely know about the Force and Jedi.
When is it set?
It's set in the Mandoverse time period.
Okay,
so not at this like.
Is it post Luke Skywalker?
I can't tell.
Coming back?
I don't know. But it'll be. The thing is though, Luke Skywalker, made an appearance, but I think. Just in general, he's kicking around in the universe in general, though. But
okay,
it just seems weird, like because in those Thrawn books and stuff. Because I just read the comic recently. Like he's very active. Everyone knows Luke Skywalker's around and blah 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 blah. It feels like in this universe, the Mando, he's around, but he's not really super known where he is, what he's up to. Doesn't really seem to make that many appearances.
Just keeps himself, and he's getting grumpier and grumpier.
Yeah,
and more jaded.
He was always grumpy. When was he not grumpy? Maybe for the first Luke. He was grumpy all through. I just rewatched Empire. He's grumpy all through that movie.
He was
grumpy all through Return of the Jedi.
He was
eager, impatient.
He was curt.
Yeah. Maybe for the first, maybe in New Hope.
New Hope.
He's a blue-eyed,
he's pretty dopey,
doe-eyed farm boy. But it's from Empire on, he's a curt little grumpster.
Yeah, okay.
So don't give me this nonsense that all of a sudden he became grumpy. I ain't flying on this podcast, mate.
I still can't get over the map to Luke Skywalker, and it was in R2 all along. Anyway.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was the rest of them. Was it? Hang on, which people?
No, the rest.
No. The map to Luke Skywalker was in BB-8. The rest of the galaxy map was in R2.
That's right, and they're all looking for it.
No, they're looking for that. They've got the map to.
But what do they want Luke Skywalker for? To kill him?
Yeah.
For what? He's grumpy and boring.
I don't know that. It's what he represents. We're like for that 30 year. We don't really know what he got up to.
He's just a J.J. Abrams MacGuffin. Anyway,
I feel like we've covered that ground before as well.
Oh yeah, at Disneyland there was for €80 I could have bought the Sith dagger.
Really? From the Rise of Skywalker. How many of those you reckon they've ever sold?
I politely declined, but I took a photo of it. I can't imagine too many. I imagine you'd buy one.
No. No.
If you just stand in the right place at the right time, you find the way to the Death Star. That is by far the worst. Who stood
there and carved it, and it's standing on a certain point to put a bump in a piece of wreckage? It's in an ocean that would probably get knocked around continuously. Not to mention that the Emperor's throne room was up a big spike thing. If you watch Return of the Jedi, it probably fell over anyway the moment the Death Star blew up. Anyway, whatever.
We're so low on content that we're
going to kick Rise of Skywalker.
6 years ago, we're flogging this old horse.
Yeah. I'll be curious. I actually look forward to watching it when my girls get up to it, actually, because I don't think I've sat and watched it all the way through for a few years. So
I haven't watched any movies for ages. Like, I need to get back on my Star Wars I need to fill my Star Wars serotonin content, because I mean, my son. I'm also just don't want to watch it because I want my son to watch it when he's of right age as well. Like, because I don't want him to just walk off and get bored.
I think you got to wait till he's at least at school, I think.
Yeah, I know. So I want him to enjoy it. So, like, he's seen the cartoon versions, those YouTube ones where they sort of...
The Lego stuff's a good way in as well, but it might spoil some of the stuff in it too.
Oh, he's spoiled. It's all spoiled. He knows all the characters. He's got a memory like me. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I was sort of like, I waited till they were a little bit bigger, and it's sort of paying off now. So, yeah. So we might even do Return of the Jedi this weekend, potentially, depending what the weather's doing. But we'll do Skeleton Crew. Yeah, look, pirates, adventure, kids in mishaps, kids in ships, kids on bikes, all that kind of biz. I'm all for that. I'll be curious to see how Urkel goes. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he was in it.
Yeah.
What's he going to be?
He's going to be Hondo. I think he's one of the pirates.
He could be Hondo Anaka.
He hasn't got the voice, though. Wouldn't you?
True.
I suppose you could just get the guy who does the Hondo voice, but then why would you bother getting a guy? Like, he might as well get anybody.
The guy who does the Hondo Anaka voices in Curious George the Monkey.
Oh, okay.
I found out he's the chef in Curious George, and it's the same. He doesn't even bother to change. It makes no.
Oh, it's the same voice.
It's exactly. It's literally just Hondo Anaka's voice in Curious George. I was like, what the hell?
They do that in some like cartoons and stuff. It's like the guy who used to do Garfield's voice was the same as the guy who did Peter Venkman in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. It was just the same voice. So some people just got good voices for cartoons.
I would like to see Hondo if this is all about pirates and stuff. Now's the time. Bring him back. Bring him out.
I think they've been holding their powder. I reckon we've seen probably the first footage from the first 2 episodes of this. I reckon there's a whole bunch of other stuff we haven't seen yet. But you'll be showing up for the recaps?
I'll do my best. What time are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know. Like what we normally would do in the evening of the day that it drops.
Maybe it's a conversation we'll have offline.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because it's going to be over Christmas as well, so it's going to be slightly tricky to get hold of people. But
I will do my best.
Around my birthday, I don't know if there's an actual episode on my birthday. When's Christmas this year?
Is your birthday on Christmas Day?
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Oh, it might be. Christmas Day is the 25th, which is a Wednesday when it normally comes out.
Oh no! If it's us December 4, then it's Christmas Day. That's rude.
Oh, right. So there'll be the day before my birthday. So what? There'll be an episode on Christmas Day?
Yuck.
How am I going to get a podcast out on Christmas Day? Just going to round everybody up like, just, in Australia as well, everybody will be having a Christmas swim, playing cricket in the backyard.
Oh, yeah. No one's going to come. No one's coming back till at least the 28th.
I'm like messaging you guys going, so everybody good to get on the podcast at 8:30? It's like, dude, it's Christmas Day. Like, what are you doing?
Get stuff, Chapman. I'm getting abused by my family on Christmas Day. I'll be there.
I'll probably be able to get Brand my brother up or something, actually, if I have to. If I have to get desperate and pull that out, we'll probably be able to pull something off. But anyway, discussion for offline. All right, mate, we're going to wind up a little bit earlier here, I think, but it's just nice to have you back talking some Star Wars.
No, it's good to be back. I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. I'm not going in there with any negative or things. I'm just low on serotonin. I'm also I got the post holiday blues, so but happen. I'm ready for it. But I'm buzzing for Andor. I'm buzzing for Mando. What else is coming next year? Is that it?
Is there another Ahsoka season next year? I don't know.
I hope so.
Or is that the year after? So, Mando movie, Andor. Maybe if there's another animated thing, we haven't heard anything.
I didn't even watch any of the Marvels. Did you watch Agatha all along?
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, I watched it with Kat. Kat actually really enjoyed it. It's a good get your partner invested in something.
Haven't even. Well, I haven't. I've been overseas. So
my mum asked about it the other day, and she has never seen a Marvel movie in her life. She just read a write up that it was good. I'm like, okay. I guess you might enjoy it. I'm like, you've never watched a Marvel movie in your life. Like, go watch Andor. At least you've seen Star Wars. But anyway. See how we go. My mum all of a sudden just goes, I fell down the rabbit hole and I watched Iron Man and then I watched Endgame and
really?
No, she hasn't. But I'm just the most bizarre thing ever. If my mother just became interested in Marvel,
just imagine your mum goes Wakanda forever.
Yeah, she's 3,000. She's like all this time you've just been reading your silly little funny books and then I never understood. But there you go. All right, mate. Anything else you want to drop? Any news you want to?
No, nothing on my end, mate.
Well, we'll get you back in a few weeks. We'll do a proper Skeleton Crew preview hopefully the week before it drops.
Come up with some predictions.
Yeah, we'll do our prediction show. Well, it's not the Scruffies who have the prediction show. Ours is just a discussion that they own that. So I'm not trying to cut their lunch. But thanks everybody for listening. Take care out there. Be good to each other. All that stuff. We love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.